be in a good mood after that intro. Folks, NXT just went off the air. We're on the air to talk about the events of April 1st, 2025. So many things that has happened here. We have Stephanie McCurry giving up her Women's North American Championship. We had Dark State beat up a bunch of people. And Jordan Grace, can we just throw this out here? She threw somebody! I don't want to yell too much. I'm kind of sleep. We had to put the picture down so you can see our lovely face. Hi, guys. I'm one of your hosts, the great grandson Pooh, and I'm joined with the sensational Sabrina Estella. Sabrina Estella, how the heck are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. No joke about that. Just like tonight's NXT show, there's nothing to joke about here, which tonight was quite the spectacle of things, we must say, and we have quite a bit to discuss tonight.
Ooh, let's talk about it. I mean, we're usually joined with Frecklesensei. He took the night off. We'll see him next week. So we're saying salute to our good friends, Freckles freaking Sensei. We see you guys in the chat. George, what's going on? We got a new one. John L, I hope I'm saying that right. He says, hi, I'm. So we're going to just say hi, welcome. We got George in there. We got the lovely Miss Thug Angel. It's great to have you here. We got Jeffrey Reimers. What's good? Jack and Sabrina Estella. Oh my God, I fucking spit on my lip. Jesus Christ. Let me get it together here. But yes, we have a lot of things. We're glad that you're here. So do us a favor. However you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, give it a like. If you're watching this on, I almost said TikTok. I'm sorry. Twitter, give it a like, share it. Same thing on Facebook. Do all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure what they do. Where's Mr. Cat that you're actually? He is asleep right about now. I have to say, I have a lot
from his cat nap.
I gotta say, this cat has given me a lot of work. I love how everyone's asking where's the kidnap. What about me? I'm here, guys. Is that not good enough for everybody? But he's asleep. And he's in his playpen because you know what happened. I let him roam around. He crawled underneath my bed, knowing I can't reach him, and he taunted me. He thought it was funny. I don't find anything funny about me going underneath my dusty ass bed because there's dust there. And you know, I took a nice shower, so now he's asleep. He might make an appearance a little later, but he says he says in cat meow, which means good evening or night. I'm not sure, but he might make an appearance. And he was messing with the remote. George, he says the reason NXT was pretty good tonight because there was no JC Jane. Honestly, that actually lost points on NXT because I sat there and I watched. I know we're going to talk about this intro. Let's talk about this intro. What happened? We have Stephanie McCurry. She's a double champion. She gives up these, not both belts. I apologize, but she gives up.
At least you know that wasn't necessary, but because we're both very confuzzled over here. But
please take it away.
As the great grandson, it is Stephanie in the ring with Ava, and they're discussing. Ava is saying how Stephanie has shown everyone why she is la primera ever since she stepped foot into NXT, retaining both belts last week and showing us just how talented she is. However, the women's division is so deep that it's not fair for her to hold both titles alone. So with a heavy heart, she's going to be relinquishing the Women's North American Championship. And Stephanie says that she understands it's not a popular decision, as everybody in the back is chanting no and that she deserves it and that she should keep the belt, so on and so forth. But she says that NXT has given her opportunities and she wants to give everyone else the same opportunities and push the division without stopping. So she's going to relinquish the belt under one condition, that she gets to choose her challenger for the NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver. And I just have something that I want to point out before we keep discussing everything. Now, people have put up pictures of them saying Stephanie's the first double champ in NXT, and then people put up the picture of Mandy Rose with the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT UK Women's Championship, and with the word meanwhile underneath it. And then Mandy's like, yeah, it's so pathetic, they forgot about the blah blah. And some of y'all forgot that was a match to unify the belts. Mandy never defended the NXT Women's UK Championship belt because it was unified. It doesn't make her double champ if she never defended the other one, if they had to combine them. And as far as being a double champ, she's the first one in NXT to do so, Miss Stephanie Vacated. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because I had a feeling that somebody was going to bring that up in the comments that, oh, somebody said that Mandy Rose did it first. Yeah, she held a belt, 2 belts, for a few hours to take some pictures in the back after winning that match to be able to hold both belts for a few hours, take the pictures, and then they say they're unified, so that she walked out with 1 belt. But Jordynne Grace comes in, apologizing for interrupting, and says that she's so happy that Stephanie gets to pick her opponent because with Miss Polka out of the picture, they can focus on the match that's really important for the first time ever on the biggest stage NXT has to offer, the Juggernaut versus La Primera. Enters Miss Parker with the people hyping her up in the background, and she's like, do you hear that? This is what the people want. She says she ain't out the picture, and if you had just stayed on the ground where you had left her last week, I would have won the title. That it was this close. Stephanie knows it, but go ahead and call the shot. Jordynne says, you fumbled your shot, and maybe you don't understand how titles work because you've never had one before, but go to the back of the line. Stephanie then says, you work it out. She backs away, and they fight. Now, tell me how NXT can make a woman champion look strong and back away from all the drama, from all that insanity, and then have Io Sky on the main roster looking like a joke, getting beat up by Rhea and or Bianca every other time they've been in the ring, face to face with each other. Like, can someone explain to me what was going on with Triple H? Maybe he should talk to HBK about that, because what in the world was that?
Sorry, my camera was like that. Sorry.
It's fine. But they start brawling. There's a back body drop to put Miss Parker on the apron. She gets punched out. Security comes in. 3 people get in the ring to hold Jordynne back. But Jordynne actually threw one of them outside into the other ones. And then they go in the back, and then they keep fighting back and forth.
That was quite the fight. A few things here. MD, I mean, he's usually on the Monday night show, so it's great to have you here on Tuesday with us. But he said he got the same shirt. This is from Five Below, so I wanted to give a shout out for Five Below, not sponsored by them yet. The segment was fun. The segment was really, really fun. I mean, Jenna Parker is just a star, man. Like when she comes out and they were doing, what was saying, "Go Miss Parker." I'm totally off beat here,
They
but
just chanted Miss Parker.
It was really great. I saw something Jeffrey asked in the comments. He said, what was the point of Stephanie having both belts? I would have, if we were doing this, I would have had her go to Stand and Deliver and drop the North American title. I saw someone on Twitter and they felt like Fallon should have just won. I like that Stephanie won last week. I like that because we always get I'm the double champion, that first title defense, and they drop the championship. I kind of like that change. I like that switch up. So I'm a fan of that. Her giving up the belts, it doesn't bother me, but I also get what Ava was saying, what a lot of people were saying, pretty much of, hey, we got this stacked women's division, and she has both belts. Switch it up.
Why hold them hostage? We had somebody in the chat who likes to refer to himself as the future Mrs. Stephanie Vacated, despite actually still being married, and asking, why are they doing this to my double champion? Why are they making her drop the belt? And I'm like, and have the belts be held hostage again? We already had that with Sasha and Bayley when they were tag team champion, Raw and SmackDown women's champion. We don't need history repeating itself again.
I know a lot of people
only have 2 titles down there to fight for. A main title and a mid-card title. They don't need to be held hostage for longer than it already had been. But I'm happy that it wasn't just we had Kehlani, then Fallon, then Stephanie, then Fallon again. Let someone else take the belt so that we can build up a prestige, so to speak.
I see MD in the chat. He says he will fight anyone for Stephanie Vacated. We got George, who said the NXT women's division it's very stacked. I mean, you got your pick of the litter, honestly, on who could be the next women's North American champion. What's going on, Charmaine? Charmaine's in there. What happened to Roxanne? You know what's interesting about Roxanne? I know we're going to talk about her a little bit later. So I'm wondering where the switch up happened here, because there was a period of time where it looked like her and Bailey was going to either go at WrestleMania or stay and deliver. Now it looked like none of that is happening. And honestly, too, seeing her still here in NXT, there's no complaints for me for being here in NXT, but I thought her match with Jordan Grace at Roadblock was pretty much her swan song, but I guess not. I don't know what we're doing here. But I was just interested that she was still on NXT. But yeah, and also too, I just feel like it's important to highlight this. We have a group chat. One, Sabrina, Estella, and Freckles Sensei. Yeah, as you can tell, I was getting ready to say freaking. That's why I was getting it all together. But Jordan Grace threw a guy, and I wrote in the chat. I said Jordan threw an N word. She threw that N word because that man flew. And I wish that I knew Jordan Grace, because now I still got to get my return ticket from Las Vegas because I'm going for WrestleMania weekend, and I still haven't gotten a plane ticket. So I'm hoping that I run into her and she could just throw me right back to New York. That would be great. It would be cheaper too. Might be dangerous because I might just fly into duck. You know, hit a duck's beak. I don't know how dangerous that is. I've never seen a duck peck someone, but that shit looks bad. And I have a cat to feed, so I have to come back home. What else do we have on the docket?
Well, after that, we get a quick little Instagram promo from Trick calling out Oba for an in-ring confrontation tonight. And then we get Oba being interviewed on his way to the building. And he says that, Trick, I don't answer to Trick. He answers to me because I'm the champion, not the other way around. And you're going to find out the hard way why you don't call out the ruler. And then after that, we get a quick cut to the girls in the back of the locker room watching the announcement that they're going to have qualifier matches for a ladder match to determine who's going to be the new Women's North American Champion. Ariana says that she's not interested because it seems too dangerous. Fallon's like, we don't care, shut up. I'm going to enter. I'm going to win back my title. Lolo's like, no, you're not. And some of the girls start brawling back and forth. And there's a few future contenders already for the qualifying matches, and we'll get more into that as we keep.
Let's say something real quick. This is when I knew that NXT was just not going to be my favorite show tonight, because I looked at all the
Jason in the locker room.
Absolutely not. I looked. I scanned. I'm half Kryptonian, guys, so I had my eye like this, and I looked. I don't know. I feel like I'm playing that game in the 90s. It's not Jenga. It's the thing when you put the thing on the left. That's just what I feel like I'm doing right now. And I looked, and I didn't see no JC, and I said, oh, okay. But we're getting some good qualifying matches, and I'm interested in talking about with you folks. So what do we got here? I don't know why my camera is freezing. I'm frozen, and it's a terrible. Oh, there we go. I'm moving now. What's going on? He says Jordan throws her husband too, and I actually chuckled at that because that is hilarious.
Well, I mean, when you married to a wrestler, you gonna practice and do some shit. I mean, everybody saw what happened when Rhea Ripley chopped her lovely husband right in the pecs here. There's clips on Instagram.
Buddy,
and he was like dying.
Well, honestly, Buddy Murphy have probably the second strongest chest in the world, because you know who number one is. It's Morgan Freeman. How did you not know that?
Because Freeman. I wanted you to say it.
There we go. What we got next on Sabrina Estella? I know I'm lagging, Jeffrey. Don't remind me of my bad internet. I'm doing the best I can. I'm here, and I'm very happy. I just want to point out, I know no one mentioned it, and it's really unfortunate, but I just want to say, because I see it, I have fantastic skin. What do we got next?
Well, we had our first match of the night, our first women's qualifier match, with Lash Legend coming out with Jakara versus Zarya coming out with Soruka for the match. And with how much those two teams have worked together and fought each other for the last few months, the chemistry was good. It worked out well. And I just want to say, for those that watch on a computer with headphones, you can definitely tell that the NXT crowd has fun when they're at these shows, because they will start chanting the funniest things. Because I could hear them chanting a little bit of Outcast Miss Jackson, because Jakara Jackson was out there. I pointed out in our group chat, Frecklesensei was like, how did I miss that? How could I not hear that? And I'm like, you got that Kryptonian suck. I got that Kryptonian hearing.
You do. Let me tell you something. So my actual shoot last name is Jackson. And I can tell you right now, I fucking die when people sing that song to me. And I had a guy one time at my job. He sung it totally off beat. He said, "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. You know the deal." And I ripped my hair out. I sometimes hate telling people my last name because when I hear that, I die inside. I get very upset. And each time someone changed the lyrics, I think someone said, I don't even know what the guy said. It was just awful and it was wrong. I thought this match was fantastic. I thought it was a good opener. I mean, these two girls, these are two of your strongest girls on the roster. And it was really cool because Zaria has been doing a lot of tag team work lately. So it was cool to see her in singles action. And I'll be honest with you. I'm always honest with you guys. I like to believe that. I'm a truther. That's what I do. I learned that today from what was that show? Drake and Josh. Never watched it.
I was about to say, you're not a liar.
No, I can't do that. That's why my skin is fantastic. But because if you lie,
actually, let me rephrase that so I could be a little more proper with that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't calling you a liar. I'm calling you a truther.
I'm calling you a truther. I like that. It's so simple. But this was a great match, and I think it was great to get Zaria back in that singles column again.
And Lash Legend still looks strong, even though she did get pinned to win.
Yeah, and Lash is fantastic. I mean, because my point I was going to get at, because she continues to grow, and I'm really proud of her process. So I thought this was really good. There was this one hiccup in the match where they did the kip up, and Lashes looked very fluid. I just don't think Zaria had enough spring into it because it's really hard to do a kip up. So, but it was really cool. They did a lot of big spots. I mean, Zaria did this one spot where it was like a Hurricane Rana, and I thought it was cool. So I thought this was a great open. So and yes, MD 899. I've watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Drake and Josh, but it was never like it wasn't my jam.
It was mine. I grew up watching it.
Okay. Well, I know that who's Drake is the fat one, right?
No, that's Josh. Josh was the bigger one of the two, but he slimmed down by like around seasons 3 and 4.
I have a friend of mine's. He was in that movie with Thor, and when he saw Josh, he said, "When did Josh get hot?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I didn't. Okay.
Josh slimmed down like season 3 and 4 into the show.
Good for him.
Seasons, of course.
Love that for him. It's good for him. But yeah, it was a fantastic match. And we got he says he loves Zaria.
And I will say this real quickly, and then we can get back to talking NXT with one of the most iconic TV theme songs of all time.
Is it a top 5?
It is a top 5.
No.
As far as Nickelodeon TV shows of the 2000s for me.
That what? That's fair. We should. What? That's interesting. That's a top 5.
Listen, we've been discussing stuff behind the scenes. We'll add that onto our list. You know
what was a good track? I'm sorry. I think it's very important to throw this out here. Cat Dog's intro was fantastic.
Yes.
That was a bop. If you was not around in the 90s, I don't want to ever hear anyone telling me. I had some kid try to tell me something one time. I said, I could just smell the breast milk coming out your mouth. So don't you tell me nothing. Let's carry on.
My mother doesn't understand how I could watch that show as a kid. Or Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was terrible. I think if I watched I think that was the first time I thought I was high because there was a lot of stuff going on that show. I think there was something where someone was 3D and he's 2D, and then there's like a glowing moon. I know what the hell was going on.
There was a lot, but we'll discuss that another time. Anyways, after all of that, we get Inamura and Briggs chatting about their tag team, hopefully future title endeavors and opportunities to get a shot at the belt. When Wesley and Tyreek and Tyson come up and tell them to lower their expectations, and you got Briggs and West going back and forth, and Inamura steps up and tells him what I wish I could tell him right now if I were in front of his face. He's like, I used to like you. You used to fight with honor, with Wesley looking at him like he's high or something. And he challenges him to a match tonight. And Wesley tells him to be ready and to be disappointed. And they go look for Ava so that way they can make the match official.
There we go. Ava got her hands full.
Ava always has her hands full. It's NXT. But we have
NXT, yeah.
But we have Kaylani chatting with Ava about how perfect the ladder match is for her, being how she was in the first ladder match and was the inaugural Women's North American Champion. Roxanne rolls up and says, no, it's actually perfect for her because she's going to be the first woman to hold every available title in NXT. And then they just go bickering back and forth like they usually do. And then Ava comes in and says, well, this is all perfect right here because you two are fighting in the qualifying match tonight. And then we get the D'Angelo family outside somewhere, and they're talking about all the notes that they have about Dark State. Which Tony's like, what you got? What you got? Tell me everything. Oh, God. And then they talk about Dion Lennox first, where they say he came in seeming like a bookworm, but it turns out that he was a captain of the football team in college, has multiple degrees, specializes in psychology, but he's got a temper that he broke a teammate's jaw once because he messed up the formation.
Sound like the guy should be in jail, but go ahead.
And then we get Osiris Griffin next, who also broke someone's bones in college. Then you have Cutler James, an all-American amateur wrestler who likes to break his opponent's wills. And then you get Shaquan Sugars, who...
That's a hell of a name.
Yes, who seems like someone who just likes to fight and isn't all that smart. But they said, no, he turned Harvard down. And that he has a talent for getting people to listen to him and feel like they've been friends forever before he just dips and moves on. Basically just as a master of manipulation and using people. And then you got Stax and Tony going back and forth about whether they're going to go after them now or to just wait it out, because Tony's like, Stax, I love you. And I followed your plan the last time, but we saw what happened. So let's just take it slow and just trust me this time. And then you see Stax pause for just a little bit before he says, yes, he trusts him. And then Tony says that he's going to review all the intel they got and that everybody should just keep their phones on at all costs.
So a few things on my thoughts about this segment.
Go ahead.
Well, I love wacky segments. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this was awful. I just thought it was funny. Well, he said, take it slow. I don't know why. I just wanted to sing John Legend's Ordinary People, Take It Slow. I'm not going to do that and hurt you guys' ears, so I won't do that. Look, Stack's sitting there saying, yeah, I trust you. That man do not trust him at all. I hope Tony D has a brain in his head here and realize that this guy's getting ready to betray you. This is definitely giving Last Supper, and the other guy's just waiting to get his turn to turn his back on his friend. So, it's hilarious. I mean, the stuff that they're talking about Dark State, I loved what George said here. I'm sorry, there's a lot of G's here. There's a lot of G's, F's. I'm working with you guys. Bear with me here. But I love how you mentioned about Dion, because he was a bookworm. He was the guy reading books, and he was just waiting for his time just to sit here and like stomp people out and all this stuff about breaking people's jaws and arms. I agree with you, Jeffrey. Don't want to be around that person. That seemed like the kind of person, if you accidentally just got in their way, you're in the Arby's, right? You're getting your vegetables and stuff. You bump into this guy, and this guy just punches you in the face. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with this guy. So yes, Dark State is they're trying to hype him up, so it's fine. It's funny. I want to know who these people who gave all this intel to Tony D. I know you say I have connections. Who is this connection? Who are these guys?
Well, listen, when you have like a mafia boss, soprano type kind of lifestyle, and you got connections, you don't rat out people because you know too much. And if you get ratted out or you rat somebody out, you do something with the fishes.
I hope it's the guys that were in the Stat commercial in the early 2000s. There used to be these Stat commercials, and like they will have Taz in it and stuff. You gotta watch it. It's such an outdated reference. I think only 2 people in the chat is going to get it. Maybe no one gets it. I get the reference, and I think it's hilarious. So I'm going to pat myself on the back. What we got here?
Speaking of things that nobody gets, we have Hank and Tank in the back, and they're trying to figure out more about what they need to do as a tag team. And then you see Pretty Deadly with them, and they're dressed like Pretty Deadly. And they're basically telling them that to be stars, you got to look like stars. You can't just say the Hong Kong, you got to feel the Hong Kong.
I don't like how any of that came out. So absolutely not.
Listen, this is pretty deadly. They walk that line,
That's fair.
which feels very much like almost every other character in
What the
anime
hell?
just teeters the line of their sexuality, and you just want to put a label on it so badly, but they don't say anything and they don't put no labels on it.
That's
But anyway,
hilarious.
you have the no quarter catch crew rolling up behind them, telling them that they look like they're about to get their asses kicked, and the boys take off their crop tops and they walk out of the room, and then you got the yes boys looking like they said no to us boys.
You know, so real quick, because I know we're gonna get into the match. I hope you guys can see my hand. I was this close not being on air when I saw them in the crop tops. I was this close not being on. You know how Freckles said he didn't feel good? So did I. When I saw that, and I had a lovely beef patty. I had some barbecue sauce on it, and that almost came out my mouth when I saw this on my screen. I said, oh, so they're really, why am I being punished? I've been loyal to NXT for so many years. Why am I being punished? What is happening here?
The only one that didn't feel punished by that segment was Corey Graves. So
you know what? If Icky Man would have showed up on that segment, I wouldn't have been here, Sabrina.
listen,
I would have texted
that person, and I'm not going to say his name because I know it's going to make your blood pressure go up, just like other names. But
thank you.
That man never had anything to do with Pretty Deadly in the first place, so it would be totally weird if you were just with them for no random reason. They specialize in jackets. They specialize in the ultra crop tops.
Well, look, I personally feel like I'm always constantly punished. I remember one time I turned on my TV, and I can say these names. I turned on. Miss Thug Angel says she's got a dip. We thank you for being on with us. So thank you, one Miss Thug Angel. Everyone say goodbye to her. She's fantastic. But like I was watching TV one day. Can I tell you a story? I love telling stories. I was watching Looney Tunes back in action. I love Looney Tunes. And you know who was in that movie? Oh, you want me to say it? Okay.
I actually don't know who was in that movie. I didn't watch it.
Halfway through the movie, Bill Goldberg was in the movie. I said, why am I being punished? I constantly asking myself, why, damn it? And I love my cat. He's still asleep. But I didn't understand that. So when you ask me, well, that wouldn't make sense. Does
Hollywood ever make sense with who they cast sometimes in these movies?
No, they don't. Not at all. Not at all. Not really. I'm sorry. I had to go into a tantrum.
Listen, but they like watching us act crazy and put on tantrums and go on rants. Why do you think they stay and watch us for so long? Because they want to know when we're going to do stuff like that.
And I love you guys for that. So thank you very kindly. As I sit in my room and I have to smell my cat shit, I'll have to clean that out after we finish because his cat litter is. I'm sorry. I know I'm talking about my cat a lot, but I'm a cat dad. That's all I do is tell people like, hey, you want to see a picture of my cat?
He's a new cat daddy, so he's going to be talking about his new little baby.
We're going to get merch coming soon. We're on a new tour. It's called the Grand Catastrophe Tour. Get it? Because it's cat in it and working on MTV2.
I thought it would be the Great Cat Slam Tour.
Wait, what'd you say?
The Great Cat Slam Tour.
That's good. Jeffrey, make sure write that down on the side for me. I need that as a reminder. Good job. We love that. Good job. But what we got next on the docket?
So we had a quick little commercial explaining the new show with Stephanie McMahon with Cody Rhodes in it. And then we had a little moment with the Cullen hyping up Shawn Spears and saying how they're all great and how they all came together because of him, et cetera, et cetera. And then we get some random tag team from Evolve being in the front row, which...
Yeah. They wouldn't call swipe right or something like that?
Yes,
swipe
I
right?
wanted to swipe left because, no. White boy's not my type over there. Nuh-uh.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, in our group chats, we had Frecklesensei call them Timu Bieber and a rip-off Ryan Reynolds. And I'm like, that's an insult to Ryan Reynolds. That was basically a mini Theory and Waller right there, if both of them were blonde. I don't know what you're talking about. That was mini A-Town down.
That is funny. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But we got Hank and Tank versus the No Quarter Catch crew. And I just have something I must say.
Sure.
Now, For the people that put together all the gears and for everybody that makes the gears and stuff, why did everybody have a problem when Ren Sinclair did the half leg, half short thing, but don't have a problem when Miss Parker does it because it shows half of her ass? Why they didn't have a problem when Bianca did it for a hot minute? Why they don't have a problem when Tavion over here does it with his gear, even though he doesn't do the exact same thing? Listen, that woman doesn't need to show her entire butts. She kept it PG, which is ironic because Mickie James had a comment on LFG about the girls with their gear, saying it looks like lingerie. Hey,
Yeah,
it's whatever they want to wear, and it's what makes them comfortable. It kind of does fall back to that time where back in the Divas era, they had to be all skimpy and sexy and stuff like that. So I can see why she feels that way, and I can understand a bit because sometimes it gets cut to a certain way, and when they lay down a certain way, I don't need to see it, but at the bottom line, it's what these girls are comfortable in. If they want to do the shorts, they can do the shorts. If they want to do something a little bit longer, they can do something a little bit longer. If they want to do the full leg covered, let them. But why is it a problem if a white girl does it, but not a problem if a couple of black people do it in color? It's because they got more ass?
I don't know. I saw that comment. I thought it was kind of I don't know if it was just for the show, because I know sometimes they try to have like that segment, so they have that segment, so they do what we're doing right now is talking. Because I thought it was weird. I was like, didn't Mickie? Now I don't remember everything Mickie ever wore. But
Mickie
I was like,
didn't really dress like that too much. She was more in the beginning. She was more a little more covered up. Had like skirts over it and Uggs, and was dressed like she was going to the mall, and then changed more into gear. She did eventually did wear stuff that had a similar cut, but then she transitioned into wearing pants, and then she did do shorts, and she did like
the Daisy Dukes, and I what Jeffrey is saying here in the chat says there's he pretty much saying all the NXT girls. Yeah, I mean, like
a lot of them do look the same. That's the problem. A lot of these people go to the same gear people, and they get the same things made. It almost doesn't feel as original for some of these girls.
Just real quick, I wanted to highlight some. Oh, he's up now. Okay, cool. I might bring him over. Just the answer said question. No, my cat is not named Jay-Z. It's a boy. His name is Mr. Cat, like simply Mr. Cat. George said. So Jeffrey was saying, watch. I almost said Evolution. I'm sorry, Evolve. I've been interested in actually trying to catch it, but it's so much stuff to try to catch up with. It's hard. George, he says that he does watch it, but he doesn't like the name Swipe Right. It's an interesting name. Isn't that something you do on those
that's what people do on those dating / friendship apps and all that fun stuff. And I dabbled in that once upon a time ago, but after a few years ago, I decided never again.
There you go.
So when those boys, when they said that their team name was Swipe Right, I was like, I would swipe y'all all the way left to the trash can, to the frat's trash can, if you will, because y'all look like a couple college frat boys that want to be in the best fraternity possible.
No.
But enough about all that. We had Hang and Tank versus No Quarter Catch Crew, which match was pretty good. I had no problem with it. I can't say I was enamored by the match that I was like looking the entire time and didn't look away, which I was watching, but match was fine. I mean, the NQCC picked up a win that I can't say I expected, but it makes sense with the storyline going on with Hank and Tank. But it was fine. I had nothing against it.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I won't sit here and like this was 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome, but it was a nice little filler match. You know, the crowd, they like Hank and Tank. No Quarter Catch Crew. You know, I'm a fan of their stuff. So this was fine. Corey was saying something about what's this guy, young man's name? Miles, right? I want to say his name is Miles Bourne. And it would talk about the comparison to Randy Orton.
He looks like him already. He looks like him alone. So the gear he wore tonight looks like young Randy.
He do look like a young Randy. But there was like this whole comparison thing. I said, I think it's only the look. I don't think anyone really compared because he don't work like Randy. He just have like the bald head. I believe he have a tat on the arm, and he wears the
now his gear looks more like that because before when he started, he had the full leg gear where it was fully covered.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Well, of course, Miles Bourne hears the voices in his head. The
yeah,
voices are a little muffled because he's deaf.
you know, and oh,
And he
good
don't
Chris,
wrestle like he is, and everybody forgets that.
you know, not for nothing. Shout out to him too because he sometimes I forget that he's like half deaf. I want to say I don't think he's fully deaf. I think he's half. But I give him credit because he joins in on the joke. I mean, sometimes when there was the stuff that they were doing earlier, and God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the leader's name, but he would make a joke. I mean, not a joke. He would say something. He said, "Miles, do you hear me?" He's like, "Oh, you said something, boss?" And I just thought he did a fantastic job. I thought it was funny. Good Chris in the chat. We want to say hi. What's going on, Good Chris? He says Randy Orton is 45 today, and yeah, 45. I remember when he debuted in '02. So yeah, 45 years. 45 years of age. Shout out to Randy Orton.
45 years of age, and most of that spent in the WWE.
That's right. Oh,
Courtesy of Cowboy Bob Orton.
I mean, not for nothing. If TNA had 2009 Randy Orton, I don't think that roster
It
would have
would look
survived.
It would look a lot different. Let's just say
It would be interesting. Yeah. But yes, he's a WWE lifer. At least I think so. Because you know, sometimes you say these things, and then next thing you know, someone shows up in another company. But carry on.
Randy Orton is not going anywhere. He's a legend, and he's going to retire there, and his career will look immaculate.
See,
unlike some others who retired, left, went to wrestle elsewhere, and their career now doesn't look as good as it did before.
We got Jeffrey saying AJ is 45. And we're gonna get back to NXT, but I kind of don't want to hear this because my boy is gonna be retiring at 50. So that means we got 5 more years with the phenomenal one, and
we have 5 more phenomenal years.
And I want to sit here and say, Jesus, my camera froze. I want to just simply say, WWE. Let's give my boy one more run with the WWE.
Let's give him a run. Let's give him a title run at least.
Let's go. Ah! I'm sorry, my camera went out. But carry on.
Well, speaking of people who unfortunately are fumbling, we had the great Trick Williams making his entrance, getting on the mic and talking that talk, saying that he called Oba Femi out in this very ring that he's standing in and has not heard from him since. And to not get it twisted, he might be NXT champion, but he's the man in NXT and has been ever since. He chose to be his own man, fought, sacrificed, and lost a brother for it. And every Tuesday, the network turns on to the TW because he's the guy, and all that success comes at a cost. He feels the hate from the back because they don't want him to get his shine, to get back on top. He gets it now. Javon comes in. Trek tells him, don't interrupt. I know you're upset with what happened, but that was just collateral damage. It's stand and deliver season, and it's time for the grown folks to start talking. Then you get Javon saying he finally understands Trick and asks when he knew when it was his time. This time last year, Trick was where he was, and then he won the title, became the golden child, and just like that, Javon wants the number 1 spot, as everybody does. The difference is, Javon doesn't need a break out of anyone's shadow to get to that spot, and he's ready right now. With Trick telling him that you in my shadow right now and you can't relate, and carrying a title is a different ballgame from winning the title, and Javon can't hold the way he could because he's one-on-one. And that he knows who he is. And then Javon tells Trick, you don't know who you are. You ain't Trick. You're Carmelo Hayes. Ooh. And when he said that, my jaw dropped. I was like, okay, OG, you spitting out some bars. And that gets Trick like mad. And he calls him a hypocrite, trying to water him down to make himself feel better. But Evan said that he done something that nobody else has done. Drop Oba. Then Oba Femi comes in. He tells Javon to say all that nonsense to his face and mockingly congratulates him for that lucky shot. And that Evan says, you need to stop playing like you don't have my number. All I needed at deadline was 1 more second to change history, and Oba wouldn't have beat Trick because he would have. And as a matter of fact, he'll drop him on his ass again to become NXT champion in Vegas. And you got Trick booing and telling him better luck next year. Oba tells him to shut up. He's a champion. And then he tells Javon he's a little boy with dreams. While he might be the future, he lives in the present, and that belongs to Oba. Trick tells Javon for him to excuse himself. And he steps up, and Oba holds him back. And he says, if you spent less time talking, you might still be champion. And he sees that both of them want a title match. And Ava says, she comes in, she says she's seen it all before, and there's only one way for it to end. Oba versus Trick versus Javon, a stand and deliver. Trick drops Evan with a punch. He and Oba start brawling. The ruler knocks him out. The lights go down. The dark state is here. And instead of just standing in the audience watching the chaos unfold, they all get in the ring and they jump in and beat Oba down. And then the lights come down and you see Ava staring them down. And then they also take Trick out.
Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey's asking the hard-hitting questions here. He's asking, like, what's all this black on black on black?
Listen, Black History Month is over, so we don't got to be all delicate with that no more.
But
unfortunately, there's going to be some black on black, some white on white, some Hispanic, some Latin on Latin hate crimes going on in wrestling at some point or another in the future.
We got
so it doesn't matter because them hands are ready to eat for everybody. Go ahead.
We got said. He says Oba should be he shouldn't be mangling with the Scrubs. Nexus. I'm sorry. I had to make sure I got that right. And Jared George is mentioning this triple threat. I like the direction about this. I like this triple threat. Oba, Femi, Trick Williams, and Javon. Last year at Stand and Deliver, okay. We're gonna play a commercial and I'm gonna bring Mr. Cat. I don't know if you guys can hear, but he is very upset. But I like the direction they're going in. I was going to mention last year Oba Femi. Oba Femi was in a really great triple threat match. It was him, Briggs, and Dijak. And I'm coming, man. So I can't wait to see what kind of magic they make here. I'm sorry, as you can tell, I am trying to get it together, and all right. We're gonna play a commercial. I'm gonna bring him on because he wants to be on. He didn't even watch NXT. He was asleep. I know it because he was asleep. So we're going to play a commercial. We're going to be right back. Let's see what the commercial. We're going to play this commercial because it was from Raw last night, and this is a pretty funny commercial.
I was like,
oh, shit.
Is he really?
What? Move. Don't you eat my food. Move, guys. Move. Get your ass upstairs.
What is going on?
Okay. My dog.
The dog speaks English? What? What you got Pluto? You got Goofy over there? What's some other talking dogs over there? He said moo, and the dog talked back like, fuck out of here. Let me get a bite.
Yeah. Was I the only one that heard the dog say run them pockets?
Oh my God, Jey Uso totally let his brother down. Last week I asked you a question.
What is wrong with you?
He's a horrible brother.
I'm asking you a simple.
I swear to God.
What is wrong with you? Why do you say such off the wall, off the chain thing?
Hold on, talk about. I agree with Steven.
Thank you.
He is a horrible twin. He let his brother get the shit beat out of him.
Thank you.
Did y'all not see the man zip tie?
Man, look, everybody knows if you hold on, guess what? Everybody knows if you want to pop zip ties, you roll them joints over, then you go under, and then pow.
Everybody knows that. Hello.
No,
it's a known fact.
I'm sorry. For those of people who have not been arrested, how are we going to know that? How are we going to know that?
Bro,
hey, you guys need to live an exciting life like I lived to know that. Then how about that?
Willie, everybody knows this, right? Ask your dog. Go ahead.
No, hey, come here, Louis. You know that? Uh-huh.
First of all, I'm gonna need that commercial clip sent to me so I can keep that on my phone forever. Second of all, sorry, Willie, I haven't been arrested, so I don't know how to get out of no damn zip tie handcuffs. But we're back to discussing all things NXT. Sabrina, Estella, the Grand Slam Puma, and our new temporary third co-host, Mr. Cat.
He's trying to bite my headset, guys. Get on there. Okay, all right, whatever. He don't want to talk. He doesn't listen to anything I'm saying. He don't respect
like
me. He don't respect me at all. Okay, now he's gonna run off. All right, let's get it. Now, he's out. He's free. Let's talk about. I thought the commercial was hilarious. I was watching him live yesterday, and it was just so funny that they think that a dog was talking back to Willie. So shout out to the Raw team. Check them out when Raw goes off the air. No, carry on. This is gonna be a terrible.
Well, this is why you need to keep your wires safe so they don't go scratching at it or get it.
Sabrina, I'm new to this. It's terrible.
Listen, you need advice. Ask some of us in the chat. Some of us have had cats. We just try to help.
One last story about Mr. Cat. I was changing his thing, his pads today because I work. I have to go and leave, and my mother watches him. You know what this cat did? He peed in my bed, and I couldn't even get mad. I was just like, you know what? You got a dog. Like, you know what?
Listen, you don't be doing that. That's how they mark their territory.
In my bed? I sleep
there. Yes.
Well, I'm no one's territory. I'm no one's hoe. I don't like anyone just doing that to me.
Are you calling your cat? Are you calling your new cat your pimp?
I feel like I got pimped out. I really feel very pimped out. I feel like I need to take a shower after this. But
listen, I might not have lived an exciting life like Willie, but I've watched enough Jerry Springer to know that a pimp is someone who
wait until you see for Halloween. Everyone's waiting to see what his Halloween costume. When the award ceremony comes in, we're going to be dressed to the dapper and whatnot. But for Halloween, I might just make him a pimp. And I might be an outdated hooker. You know, one of them, like, I gave everyone a bad visual. I'm so sorry. Let's go.
Well, you can dress yourself up like a male one. But we had Andre Chase, who was getting examined, and the medic sends him home, asking if he had anybody help him out because his ribs were hurt. And he says that, no, he ain't got nobody. Nobody's with him. But Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors come in saying, like, they going to help him out. They going to take him home. And he admits that they're all right. But as they're trying to leave, there's a brawl happening outside. So he's like, whoa, stop. Don't take me out there. And then you see Jordan and Jada brawling backstage through that door. Then you got Hank and Tank talking to Fraxium. And you got Nathan really bringing them down, like being honest, but also bringing them down in a negative way. And then you got Axiom telling him to just chill out and to be a little more respectful about it. And Nathan's like, what, you want me to sugarcoat that? You want me to lie to them? Like, no, but be nice. Like, we might have had our ups and downs, but I would love a friendship like they got. And then you get Swipe Right coming in, which are basically just like if Austin Theory and Grayson Waller had traveled from the past to the present in a time machine, like in the 80s, like in those movies. And they say that they scraped their way out of the indies to work on Evolve. That Fraxium is like the Hardy Boys. And like they're the new tag team champions of the future of the world. And then they talk about how hot Roxanne is. And I just wanted to throw up seeing them because I was just like, take these two off my screen right now. And then we get Kaylani Jordan versus Roxanne Perez. Oh, he wanted to make his little on-camera debut close-up. So cute. But match was good. I mean, we didn't have that many wrestling matches tonight, but both women's matches had me more entertained versus the men's matches, I will say. But this match was good. Jordan and Kaylani and Roxanne had good chemistry together. It worked well. I had enjoyed it. And with a huge upset, especially the Booker T, Kaylani Jordan wins via her one-of-a-kind split-legged moonsault.
Not a bad choice. Kalani, I mean, look.
I was happy to hear that Corey Graves was throwing up in his mouth seeing Swipe Right alongside with us, because even he was like, take these two away from me.
I do want to say, talking about Swipe Right, I'm seeing Jeffrey say he's a fan of theirs. I know that, listen, they did their job, so I'm assuming that these kids are heels, and they are, right?
I haven't involved, but I can guess that they are.
But, I mean, when they were saying, bro, I think I was ready to just put my head in the sink, and I think they've done a fantastic job on being heels. So, I mean, maybe one day I'll actually give them a shot talk about Evolve and see what this is about. I think they actually announced the card tonight too, because they were talking about.
Yes, they did announce a couple matches that they're having happen.
With
Wendy Chu appearing, so everybody who is a winner, what happened to Wendy? There she is. She's working with the stars of the future for NXT.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool. You got someone as experienced as her. They're not doing anything with her, and she can help these new.
Matter of fact, WWE ID Kylie Ray, Smiley Kylie being shown on there. So now, what she does.
I was gonna say, I thought this was cool. So I haven't watched any of these episodes, but I saw a picture, and that referee Jessica, I forget her name, but she's on there. And she's a wrestler.
Carr, she made her wrestling debut there as Calix, the name that people thought that Soruka was going to take. Which Soruka's not even her real name, so why would they give her yet another name to market if she already has a marketable name? And plus, we got Zaruka, so we can't mess that up.
No.
What would they call Alex? It doesn't have the same ring.
But I will say about the match, I think the match is, I was going to say, Kalani, she's going to be in NXT for a little bit longer. You got Roxanne, who is pretty much called up to the main roster. I'm pretty sure after Stand and Deliver WrestleMania season, all that stuff, we might have a draft or something like that. I think she's supposed to be on Raw right now, right? I forget at this point. But my point is,
on Raw. She was working a couple Raw episodes. Was an Elimination Chamber.
Right, she was in Elimination Chamber. So I'm assuming that after
the draft.
WrestleMania season, we're gonna have like a draft and stuff like that, and they're gonna actually start putting some steam into her because she's just ready to go to the main roster. She's done.
She's been ready.
She's been ready, so it's time. But the match I thought was pretty. It was solid. Come here. Yeah, sit right here. So yes, what else do we got? Yeah, we got Jeffrey saying she was working with Bailey. Damn it! But she was working with Bailey, and I'm wondering why that stopped. And it seemed like things you can't touch. You know. What do we got next?
Oh, you poor thing. But we have Stevie Turner and Robert Stone in the office. Stevie's apologizing to Ava for swipe rights mysteriously swiping their way into tonight's episode of NXT, being like, ever since you made me GM of Evolve, those two have been completely driving me up the walls, been out of control. I apologize. I understand how you feel about some, like when you have to deal with certain people here. And Robert Stone's like, that's great. And he starts basically announcing everything that's going to happen in the card for the future. And then Ava's like, that's great and all, but my focus now is Dark State. They try to intimidate me. I'm not going to play like that. And they say they don't want to wait. They're going to have a 6-man tag match. And it'll be between any three of them, which I think it's going to be Cutter, Shaquan, and
Devon. Isn't it?
Not Dion. I think Dion's going to be the one standing outside because I think he's the brains of the entire operation.
Okay.
Versus the main event of Stand and Deliver, the evolution, so to speak.
Right, someone had to put a picture. Yeah, it's like Charmander, Charmeleon, and then you got Charizard. And obviously, Oba is Charizard. Charmeleon is Trick, and
Devon is Charmander.
Honestly,
and I'm just thinking, we already know exactly what's going to happen. It's already written in the cards. Dark State is going to win that triple threat match because those three are not going to be able to work together before Stand and Deliver in a couple weeks.
Who you got taking the pin?
Maybe Javon.
I can see Javon. I don't think Oba. Yeah, I can see that.
Oba's not going to take that damn pin. Not worth a damn. Not right now. He looks too dominant, and he doesn't need to be taking the pin now, unless it's Stand and Deliver and Trick wins the title back. But I think that match, if it would have been just them two, would have been a 50-50. But
let me throw something out your way because we talked about it, but I did want to throw this out here. So I feel like for the longest time, a lot of people thought Trick had something to do with the Dark State, right? He got attacked tonight. Do you feel that this is a setup, or do you feel like they really don't work with anybody?
I don't think they work with nobody.
Okay.
Cool. Who do they need to work with over there?
Well, a lot of people were thinking that because he never got hit, he never got attacked. But tonight he was the first. Are you for real? Okay. Go on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go tell the segment. I got to put him in this cage because he's not listening. Go ahead. There you go. Come here.
Well, while my tag team partner plays.
Damn it!
Tom and Jerry with his cat here. We have Sabrina and Zarya chatting. And Zarya is happy with her win and everything, and she wants Soul to be at ringside for her at Stand and Deliver. And she agrees, and then they got Kaylani rolling up, saying that she's going to win the title, she's going to climb that ladder, she's going to be the first 2-time Women's North American Champion. And Soul drops the bomb that she has a qualifier match next week. And Zarya seems a little upset at first, only because she wasn't told anything earlier. And Kaylani starts trying to drive a wedge, and she's like, don't even try it. I already know exactly what you're doing. You can't get in the way of Zaruka. And she's like, it's not even worth it. I'm going to go. And then they have a little brief discussion. Zarya's like, Zaruka? I kind of dig it. And she's like, I knew you would. And I have a feeling that the qualifier match that Zaruka might have could possibly be against Jakara, only because Zarya went up against Lash. But I could be wrong. Ooh. And I'm okay if I'm wrong. And as far as another qualifier match, based on what we saw in the locker room, Fallon versus Lola.
I'm kind of okay. And there should be one more qualifier, right? Because I feel like we're missing somebody.
Well, it would technically be 2 more qualifier matches. I think they might do one more. And then maybe possibly do the same thing that they've done before, which is have one more match with the women that didn't win their qualifying matches to determine who it's going to be.
Well, George is agreeing with you. He says it is going to be Saruka versus Jakara Jackson.
And then I think that I'm going to put it out in the stars, just as a quick little guess. I think that Soul might win, and then you have all 3 faces for the ladder match. And then I think there's a possibility that they're going the last few qualifying matches will all be heels, so that way it evens out. I mean, you can have a ladder match where it's more faces and more heels, but
totally.
We'll just see how that goes.
Georgian's got it's for next week, right? Lola against Fallon. So he got Lola going.
We got a couple qualifying matches happening next week, so we'll see.
And also too, right?
I mean, I will say I called that ish.
It's funny. Well, not funny. I'm sorry. I'm just using words here, but interesting because you was mentioning some of the qualifying matches and stuff like that. But Cora Jade, I mean, she was in there too. I'm wondering if
I could see her being in one of the qualifying matches.
Okay. Or
against who? Don't know yet.
Or what they could do is for the last one, if we have 2 qualifiers for the last one, because there's so much of a big roster and there's a lot of girls that you like. Cora Jade, you mentioned in Cora. Well, Stephanie wouldn't be in it. Fallon Henley, she hasn't say in it. There's a few girls in here that you're like, yeah, what's gonna happen? So I'm just saying maybe the last one they could do like a battle royal and the winner goes. I mean,
I would be completely fine with that too.
Yeah, I think it would be different. I would switch
up. That's what I felt like Ava was going to say at one point or another what she was going to do, but they never let her open her mouth. So
right. So,
but you have Dark State cutting a promo celebrating everything, and then you got 3 of them talking. And this is the reason why I believe that Dion is going to be the one that's going to be outside of the ring during the whole thing, because the promo, as they're cutting it, celebrating the Twitter beatdown. You got Cutter, you got Shaquan, and you got the other guy. I always wind up forgetting one of their names. But the 3 that were talking in that promo, I feel like they're the ones that are going to get in that ring so they can beat down everybody. And then Dion's going to be on the outside playing the role of the brain over there.
That guy, I'm sorry, I because I'm still getting accustomed to the names, and he was the one talking a lot.
Osiris, that's the other name.
Okay,
we got Osiris, Cutter, and Shaquan. They were doing all the talking. Dion was barely even popping up. He only made a brief little appearance at the end, and that's because Shaquan was holding the camera and it was moving.
It seemed like he was shaking or something like that.
Well, I mean, he was doing it on his phone, so.
I can dig that. I mean, I think, although Dion didn't do a whole lot, I mean, this is probably the biggest thing he's doing in NXT. The NXT crowd is more familiar with him than the other 3 guys. And that one guy, you said his name. You said the gentleman's name. He I don't want to say gift of gab, but like when he talks, I can't help but listen.
You mean Jaquan?
Mm-hmm, I guess his name is Shaquan. Okay.
Well, they said that he is a talker, and he knows how to like charm people, so that's where it comes in.
All right. What else we got going?
You got Ricky Starks getting interviewed briefly, like saying like, oh, like they were trying to cut down on your shine and all that, and he's like, look at this jaw. It takes a lot more to cut down on this shine. And then he's basically saying how he's going to win the belt tonight, which is our main event with Ricky Saints versus our transitional champion and Shawn Spears, with the rest of the culling, not to be confused with the Cullens from Twilight, because the name is very similar to that last name.
Oh, okay.
And the match was good. Ricky definitely had a few funny moments. I mean, when he did that walking thing alongside the barricade onto the crowd, even petted a girl on the head briefly, and she was like nearly freaking out. Everybody was going crazy cheering for her and for him. And the Revolution has been televised.
Yeah.
Izzy had her moment where they threw the belt in. Spears hits Ricky with it. It doesn't work. Thank God they stopped doing that trip. If you get hit with the belt, you're knocked out. 1, 2, 3, you're done.
Yeah.
That trip gets old. And Ricky cleared house with Jensen and Nico because he knocked their asses out. I'm happy that he didn't do the cliche thing of going up to Izzy, having her distract him, and then Shawn could have used that to his advantage and retained the belt. I was like, thank God they did not go that route because that always happens. And then with the Rochambeau, we have our new NXT North American champion. And Ricky came into the scene at NXT on February 12th. And I only know that because I checked scrolling through the Instagram feed of all the reels that they put up in the last few months just to see so I could be accurate with it. It's been over a month since he has officially joined the NXT roster, and he's already a champion. Right. It took him less time to get a belt versus someone else who decided to take the smile off our faces and attack Ricky, which I knew that they were going to feud at some point. And then you got Ethan Page coming in, beating him down after that hellacious battle he had to go through, and then held the belts up in the air. You got someone who held the belt hostage for a while in Ricky Starks over in the other company. And then you had someone who they never gave a belt over there for whatever particular reason. Because, I mean, Ethan can wrestle. He can cut a promo worth a damn. And he's a decent talker. So I don't know why over there, the company that he once considered to be the best in the world, never gave him a belt to hold. TNA has given him a belt to hold. Even if it was a tag title, he still had a belt to hold over there. He held a belt over here 40 days after being signed. You couldn't give him a belt there in the last few years that he was working with you.
I don't think they knew what they had with
They didn't, and that's when they let him go. Now they're seeing what they missed.
Yeah, the match was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say this match.
This was the only entertaining men's match for me of the night.
I just want to say that it was a fine match. But I was calling it though. I was sitting there saying Shawn Spears is going to be a transitional champion. He's not.
I already said he's a transitional champion. He wasn't going to hold it for that much long.
Right, and and I was saying like, oh, they're going to. Now my thing was, I didn't think they were going to put the title on Ricky so fast. I was thinking, oh, maybe that's a match of stand and deliver. But I guess stand and deliver. So
and versus Ethan at stand and deliver, especially with the history they have too.
Or it can possibly be that. Or we add Shawn Spears, and you might say, well, why Shawn Spears? I mean, he just lost the championship. A lot of times these guys who are former champions. Now, originally, I kind of thought Tony D would have been in this. I thought maybe Tony D, Shawn Spears. I thought Ricky wouldn't win. So you have this thing where Tony D, Shawn Spears, and Ricky. But obviously, Tony is occupied with other things. Because he lost the championship. He never got his rematch. So I was assuming, like, hey, he's probably going to win his rematch. Wrong. But I think we're going to get this... I think we get a triple threat. I feel like I say triple threat a lot.
Well, we're getting a lot of them.
Oh, this month is triple threat
season. Happening right now.
It's triple threat season, folks. And you know, it's funny. Jeffrey puts a great way to stick it to Tony Khan. I thought the crowd going Tony fumble. I laughed. I chuckled. These guys, and same thing with Ethan. Ethan, he was given a shot. Matter of fact, they kept saying on the show, in this match, they were like, can Ricky win the title faster than Ethan? Because Ethan won it pretty quick as well.
40 days.
Yeah, and here it is that Ricky broke that record. Apparently, that was a record, but
it was a record. Shawn Spears only held the title for 4 weeks.
How many weeks?
Apparently 4.
Damn.
Because he won it in March 4th.
Wow, I didn't realize that long. I kid you not, I'm not even being funny. I thought it was like 2 weeks. And I'm not being funny at all.
That's how his title reign was.
Yeah, he didn't. But he was never meant to be the champ. It was meant for him to hold it.
He wasn't meant to be the champ. We all knew.
Right. Yeah, and it was just meant to just put it on. So, and listen, I'll say this about Shawn Spears. I think he did his job well. He held the title, and he knew that he could be able to pass it to Ricky and then set Ricky off on his very way. So, shout out to Shawn Spears. The Cullen stuff is not for me, but I can recognize when someone is talented and able to do their job well. And Shawn Spears, I do have to say, does his job very, very well. Unlike me right now, who has a loose cat here, and I'm probably going to be up all night chasing this damn thing. But that was NXT. I thought NXT was fun.
And I will say, I just did count on my calendar just to make sure that I got a good number for as far as how long Ricky has been in NXT. He's been there for about 33, 34 days. So he has officially broken the record for fastest winning champion. Beat Ethan by about 6-7 days.
Oh, check that out. But yeah, we're gonna be back here next week for some NXT. So why don't we do some plugs here, and then we plug some of the stuff that we be doing on the side here for Unpopular Review. So where is this thing at? Is something for everybody. Sabrina, Estella, why don't you take it away? You do a fantastic job on this. So,
well, on Monday at 6 p.m., you got the Mike Knox Show, the show for the intelligent wrestling fan, as well as the Raw review with the executive consultant, Big Daddy Cool and Steamy Willie Beaming. NXT Trio Tuesdays with myself, the great grandson Pooba and Frecklesensei. All Elite Women and Friends Wednesdays after AEW Dynamite goes off the air with Cactus Katie and Sheriff. Top 5 and/or predictions on Thursdays. You got the SmackDown Penitentiary Friday Night SmackDown Review Saturdays with the ZSN and Victim Mark. And then you have Collision Reviews with Mad Mac Dog Kelly.
Fantastic. I can take this part here because there's stuff going on entertainment as well. I wish the executive consultant was in the chat so he could tell us, but I know on Tuesdays we have Federation Tuesdays with EC, The Good Doctor, and James. They talk about movies. On Wednesdays we got Mike Knox, Shay Sawyer, and Cactus Cage. They talk about the challenge that goes on right after the challenge. You got the movie review with Frecklesensei. Oh, they're the Wolfpack. Forgive me. The Wolfpack got Mike Knox, Vic, and Frecklesensei. I'm not sure what movie they're doing, but they are doing things. So check them out as well. And tomorrow, right, I'm going to say 7:30-ish. We say 7:30-ish because we run on Black people time. So Daredevil, because it's never going to be exactly on 7:30, but it's going to be 7:30-ish. But we're going to be talking about Daredevil, so I'm going to stay up a little bit more to watch the latest episodes. A fantastic watch. And please check out, I believe it's on Thursdays, you got the house. I'm so the husband and wife show. The house. What are you talking about, Jack? I'm so sorry, guys. But the husband and wife show, they do it on Thursdays. I believe they're talking about Power of the Gate, Raising Canaan, the fucking house. Jesus. I'm going to send myself a text because that is fucking hilarious. But that's all the stuff going on in entertainment. Sabrina, Stella, please get it because I can't hold it together. Tell the people what you do because it's fantastic.
Well, I have my own YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally south to record wrestling matches and put them up on the air. I will be going down to Miami this weekend for
Whoa.
A bachelorette party happening at the same location. A wrestling show will be happening an hour after we're done with our party. So I'll be recording those matches and putting them up on here, including one that was once interviewed on the Mike Knox show. One, Mr. AJ Francis of First Class in TNA.
Fantastic.
I met Rich Swan at one of the last shows I went to. So I was happy to do that. I just need to meet Casey Navarro, and I met all of First Class.
Fantastic. We want to. Okay. He says, do we count the Motor Machine Guns? They won the tag titles.
We're counting. We're talking singles titles in NXT.
Just strictly
NXT. We're talking their roster.
Just strictly NXT, my friend. And he also says that he's been watching the challenge for 20 years. So you should tune in tomorrow and see what these lovely folks, Mike Knox, Shay Soy, and Cactus Katie, talk about. So please join in. And yes, Jeffrey, I know I messed up. I don't know why I said house. I don't know where that came from.
A few of us mess up when we're talking. That's our thing.
My brain runs.
We love everybody regardless of that. And because you love us too, even when we do that.
As you should. We just dropped the latest episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast yesterday. It's episode 94. We are on the road to 100, so please give it a listen. You can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and there's all these other things. I just don't know, but they're there. They're there. It's there. So please check it out. We're on. We'll be doing episode 35 this weekend. And fantastic. Well, Jeffrey's sitting there because Jeffrey's definitely like fan of the year. He's playing with a piece of paper. That's not even entertaining.
It is for that. There's a lot you need to learn, and we will help you.
I hope so, because this job is terrible. I've got scratched. I haven't. I feel like he doesn't care. I went to Petco or PetSmart, bought him all these things. I felt like a proud papa.
Did he go for the box?
No, I gave him a scratch board, and he doesn't even know what to do with it. I was scratching on it. I had more fun with the damn scratch board than him. I had more fun with it. I knew you hear me.
He will learn in due time. He's only a little baby.
Oh no, he doesn't give a fuck. I can tell this cat don't care. He doesn't care anything about me. He wakes me up in the middle of the night. It's 4 a.m. He wants to play. I don't. I'm too old for this. I want to sleep. I should have got one of them old cats, but I love this guy. This is my cat, and if he's not welcomed anywhere, I'm not welcome. And we have a tour going on. It's called the. What'd you say? What should we call it?
What's what called?
Remember, I had the world tour. It was called
the Great Cat Slam Tour.
Let's do that. The Great Grand. I like that. But that's all the stuff. Please follow us on Unpopular Review. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff. So yes,
Frecklesensei a follow on Instagram and his Twitch account too.
Please do. He's fantastic. He has some great stuff. I think he's still doing Marvel Rivals, I believe. I'm not too sure, but he is fantastic. Please give that man a follow. He is
fantastic. If not, give him a follow so you can keep up with what he's doing and see what he's doing next.
Absolutely. And he'll be here next week. So with that all said, we want to thank you guys for joining us for another episode.
Oh, Jeffrey came up with another one, the Great Grand Cat Tour.
I smell merch happening. And I definitely see that happening because I'm going to be using Temu because I am poor. So that's how my shirts will be made.
We're all poor.
Well, not The Rock. The Rock is probably the richest bald-headed man I've ever seen in my life. Well, the second one, because I feel like for purpose reasons, I feel like Vin Diesel is richer than him. And I know that's not true, so don't no one fight me on it. But that's the show. We'll be here all night. So we thank you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. Tune in tomorrow for AEW Dynamite and The Challenge.